Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
And we're here. That doesn't quite... I've got to put a little sound at the end of that, because coming in with my voice now, that transition isn't very good. Doesn't... where there's a will, there's a way. And then you hear the strum of the guitar for a second, and then I come in. So there needs to be a little something. That transition isn't working. We're going to keep it for now, bud. Good afternoon, Michelle. Amber. I sent Amber a message. I said, if you have service right now, I am live. So she said, I do for now. Almost to Fort Garland. Good. Yeah, fun. Excited for you. Good afternoon, Michelle. It's good to see you. This is not a regular daily trudge. This is I don't know what to do next. So there's a couple people that I usually go to for this, but they're not available at the moment. So my friend Lori, who's good at this stuff, Pastor Marshall is the one I wanted to talk to, but I'm not sure what she's up to. So, yeah. And it's not anything bad. It's just sometimes I get too much stuff on my plate and I'm not sure what to do. All right. So this morning I didn't really have anything. I'm like, okay, I need to figure out what I do. I think what I'll do is start to work on the Calendly stuff where people can book appointments. People can book appointments and stuff, right? And to have one-on-ones with me. Trying to see if I can get this Spider-Man one on here without it looking too stupid. Would it fit right over this? It would. Look at that. That's even better. That works out even better. There we go. All right. Got to have more crap hanging from my microphone there for the kitty cats. They better not touch it. Kill them. Oh. All right. So, yeah. So I'm like, maybe I could set that up. Welcome to Daily Trudge, Dion host. If you're here, please say hello. There, that's done. Okay. This is only going to my regular listeners, and it'll end up on. I'm not even going to put it on Podbean. So, if you're catching the live, this is going to be it. You can go back and rewatch it on YouTube or Facebook. You can rewatch it there if you want. All right. Sometimes I have, So then what? So what happened? Well, the distraction came. This is where ADHD works against me. Right. And I finally got the resource list from East Metro Detox today and given the go-ahead to review it. And I've been waiting on that. Now, both of these have a potential for money. But really, I'm trying to figure out, I think I answered my question. What's the need? What needs to be done first? Well, even then, I don't know. Because if I was to make a quick pick on which one needs to be taken care of first, it'd be the resource list. That's been needed to be done for years now. At the same time, I need to think of other people in this whole situation. Not just my recovery community, but the people in my life that what I do affects them, my friends, my family. Um, you know, I'm in a really good position that I'm usually available to help, and I want to keep that. I enjoy that freedom. Um, but I also need to bring in money somehow and participate in the bills around here. Not that we're like, scraping or anything like that. It's just I would say it's more of a goal than anything else for my own self-esteem to know that, that what I'm doing is worth something, kind of a thing. Um, I'm not the kind of person where a regular job works for me. Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 job, just it's not how my life works, man. I need to be able to have, I need to at least have a little bit of freedom to choose what it is that I'm going to be doing for the day. Um, it's always been tough for me to be at work. This rebellion rises up in me. All right. So what have I been doing? Well, I've been creating my own work, kind of. Well, I wouldn't even say that I have been um that as much as God has put opportunities in front of me, things that He wants me to help solve. And it's all finally starting to fit. See, in my mind, it's always fit, but now other people are discovering what I'm saying and the route that I'm trying to go. And they agree. And thankfully, they agree. Um, I had to start it out in a weird way. Uh, this is usually how I start it when I'm talking to a new professional. Insanity. And usually this person is familiar with AA and these types of things, not an alcoholic themselves, but these people I call servant hearts, and we absolutely need them. And so when I'm talking to normies, we call them, we don't do that as much anymore. Good job. So non-alcoholics we'll go with. And so I tell them, in recovery, we call insanity doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. So if we're going to put in this new detox and it's going to look like this one, what you're handing us is insanity. We need something different. And we have an answer to it. We have a solution to alcoholism. Whether somebody is willing to do that or not is something entirely different, right? But being able to give the best chance that we can to these people in detox to be able to get some help, right? And it's hard to do when your resources suck, right? So I'm trying to figure out what to do next, and my regular people aren't around. This is where I tend to get caught up sometimes. Do I start working on the resource list, which I can kind of start doing immediately? Now, keep in mind, there hasn't been any talk of pay with them. In fact, if it turns out that I don't get paid for the resource list, I tell you, that doesn't really bother me, though I should be, and everybody knows that. So it is on the table. Maybe not right now, you know. So yeah, see, there's a lot of little moving parts to both these things. Because when it comes to the resource list, it isn't just, oh, Alcoholics Anonymous. No, I gotta think of detoxes, crisis, sober livings, peer support, treatment centers, halfway houses, sober livings, MAT, um, and that just includes the places where these people can go. Other places, halfway houses for reintegration back into society. And then I have to have a resource for each particular type of thing somebody is going through, whether that be homelessness. Maybe they do have a home, but going back home is dangerous. So see, then there's all these variations that go along with this, and I do have to say I did look at the resource list, and most of it was pretty legit. Most of somebody did some good work. Somebody did some good work, right? Now, when it comes to setting up these appointments, I'm going to need well, let's just call them clients. You know, I don't like the word clients because I don't know. I'm just trying to be an open mind guy. We're just gonna go with clients, right? Because I've got the skills. Um, it wouldn't take much, and maybe see. So what am I doing here, real quick, before I move on? I'm running my mouth till the answer comes out. Right? And if you have suggestions, if you hear something, I'm open to direction right now. All right. Now, the resource list is going to take a lot longer than putting a calendar on my website so people can book one-on-one appointments with me. So, see, now we're starting to get to an answer, right? And it sounds like I need to set up the one-on-ones first because there's a lot less involved with that. And I can do that, get it off my plate. And then I can be like, okay, now that that's happened, I can start to schedule myself, right? Okay, Dion, you have an appointment here, but you have 2 hours to work on the resource list before then. And I can start to determine my time. And gosh, Dion gets excited at the sound of structure. I do. I know it's ironic. It's hard for me to work somewhere that has a lot of structure, even though I like the structure. There's one thing about work absolutely cannot stand: having nothing to do. No, I would rather be, I'd rather be very, very busy than have nothing to do. Absolutely, I would. Because then I feel like I got something taken care of that day, right? Right. So now on the flip side, the resource list is something that I've been pretty much begging to do for years. Now, it didn't happen in the beginning, and I understand why now. Because Dion still had some work to do. I still had some work to do, man. You know, if this would happen a couple years ago, there are some places, some things on that list, they would have been removed automatically. Yep, there would have been no discussion. I'd just say, nope, these people are no good, and they would listen to me but it can't be done that way. If I'm going to sit here and tout inclusivity, then I can't do it that way. I've got to think of everybody. Right. And that's why that resource list didn't come to me a few years ago, because I don't know that I would have thought of it that way. Right. So God also puts these things in our path at the right times, I think. But I've been wanting to take care of this resource list for a while, because I have a lot of resources. I love to make phone calls and get people excited about recovery. I like making connections. I like I like connecting this person to this person because I know it's a good fit. I'm really good at it. I am. I'm very, very good at it. It's just I know personality types, right? Like sometimes I'll see somebody that's looking for a sponsor and there's a person in the room. I'm like, and I'll send them. I'm like, you know, you're a good fit for that person. Maybe ask God, because I'm not going to tell them to go sponsor unless it's my sponsee, and then I kind of volunteer tell them, but I still leave that choice up to them. Yeah, because I'm always looking for sponsees for my sponsees too. Absolutely, I am. It's how we build our fellowship, right? And since I've gotten to know them well, right, so that's why it gets a little hard because then I have 20 million things on my mind. Then I start to feel overwhelmed, and it was getting there. Too much excitement overwhelms me. I wish it didn't. I'm getting better at it, but it's hard for me to focus when I am excited. It just is. Maybe that's part of the ADHD or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I have any of it. I think I just have, I just I have no emotional regulation. It's a joke. And it's just not a very good one, right? So, you know, when it comes to the resource list, I'm going to have to approach it with a very different, well, I'm being open-minded about, I don't know that I have to change much on it. But instead of saying, "Oh, these people are good, those people are," no, what I'm going to do is, because I believe in recovery equity, that means everybody's going to get the same chance. And that includes people that are resources. But here's the thing, you're going to have to talk to me. We're going to have a conversation. And this is what's going to divide this is what's going to, I am not going to keep you will have to, I got to make it to where it's you keeping you out, not me. It's the only way that it could be done. And there's a lot of people that don't like me, that refuse to work with me because, well, because I reported them. And those people shouldn't be in it anyway, according to my opinion. But what's one of the questions that I love to ask? What does God want? What does God want? You know, like right now, what does God want me to do? Does he want me to work on that, or does he want me to work on that? Because he put the resource list in front of me too. But I think we got our answer. I think we get the one-on-ones done, and then that clears my schedule. Because that sounded like the best course of action so far, huh? Yeah. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm creating a questionnaire. And you have to fill out this questionnaire. If it fits, then what we can do, and this is where it gets a little exciting for the staff, is then I'm going to set up tours and things like that. So staff can go check it out, ask their questions, get to know the people there. Oh, who's your intake person? We got to make sure that that intake person is listed here. What are their hours? What are the requirements for this one? That way it can go right on the resource list, right? But once you fill out the questionnaire, and there's going to have to be questions that are tougher to answer. One of them is, have you or any of your employees been caught in Medicaid fraud? It's got to be one of the questions. And even if they mark yes, it does not mean they're disqualified. That is not what that means. It just means we're going to have a longer conversation. And this is where the healing begins, my friends. Because, see, there's a lot of recovery coaches and places out there that the reason they got caught is because that's what they were told to do because they trusted someone. See, I have a ton of those people, right? So it doesn't disqualify you, but what it means is that we got to have a little bit more of a conversation. That's all that means. Nobody should be disqualified because there isn't competition in recovery. There isn't. Okay. And if I go through and pick the ones I like, I did that in quotations, then I'm doing the same thing as everybody else. That I'm making a decision based off what I want and what is not right for my community. And I think you know me well enough by now that I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to do the right thing. Okay? But I had to be prepared for it. All right. I think that's going to be it. If I keep talking, then I don't have time to get the stuff done. And I got my grandkids today. Well, I sit here and I say I have my grandkids today, but they've been upstairs playing the whole time. I haven't had to do anything. Well, I opened a box of cereal this morning, so it's not like it's right. So the grandkids are over. It's not like I'm watching them. Just give the truth here, right? Before I go, thank you all for the birthday wishes. I had a great birthday. They wanted, we're gonna do extra stuff last time. I'm like, I really need to decompress. That's what I'd like for my birthday, is just can I be left alone? And I even talked with my daughter. I'm like, thank you for understanding what I go through, because sometimes when I say that, it's like, I hope they don't think that I'm saying I don't want to spend time with them, because that's not the case. It's just sometimes I'm not the best company. especially towards the end of the day, everything's kind of built up. If I don't decompress, I get a little cuckoo. So, all right. Thank you, Amber and Michelle, for helping me figure that out. Sometimes listening is just all that really matters, right? All right. I love you. You know I do. Peace out and have a day.